Hello, I'm Jamie Bessette, and welcome to this segment of Voice over Rio Grande. Today we have our special guest, Dr. Eric Yang. He is the Director of the International Programs, so we'll be right back. Stay tuned. Good afternoon. I'm Jamie Bessette. I'm the Vice President for Enrollment and Marketing here at Rio Grande, and I'm sitting in for Dr. Michelle Johnston, who is out on special assignment today. Today on Voice over Rio, we have a very special guest. Very fortunate to have Dr. Eric Yang join the University of Rio Grande as the Director of International Programs. Dr. Yang, welcome, and we're glad to have you. You come with a very extensive background, a lot of experience in the development and management of international programs. Can you take a couple seconds and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure, thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me here. It's such a great honor for me to be here. And as you say, my name is Eric Yang, but my official name is Wenzhong Yang. But nobody knows that. They just know me, Eric Yang. Okay, I was born and raised in China and educated both in the States and China. I taught English as second language at a high school for 4 years after I graduated from a teacher's college in China. And then I went to Wuhan University to pursue my master's degree. When I got a master's degree, I taught as the assistant professor or instructor in China. It's called a lecturer in China. For 3 years, I think it's 3 years, 3 years in Wuhan University. Then it's time for me to come to the States to pursue my PhD degree at the University of Connecticut, majoring in educational psychology, focused on gifted education and talent development. After I finished my PhD journey, I accepted an offer from Michigan State University College of Education. The position is the research associate and associate director at the newly established U.S.-China Center for Research on Educational Excellence. No, that's a long name, I still remember. And also the adjunct professor in teacher education, actually is teaching the badminton coaching tips and basic techniques. So when I was the PhD student at the University of Connecticut, I was also the manager, actually it's the graduate assistant, manager at the China Bridge International Fellowship Program under the Office of International Affairs. The major responsibility is to build networks with Chinese partners, I mean the institutions, universities, to exchange like faculty or students exchange and the other, in those days, no dual degree yet. We just, academic exchange and collaboration. And at the Michigan State University, I just, conducted research. Actually, it's the comparative education. So my job is to work together with some experts and educators and to develop a education model. It is the very unique one. It is the bilingual, bicultural, and bipedagogical model that can integrate the best practice from both sides, American and China. So now it is still used, adopted by some school systems in Michigan, in Illinois, and in some other states. So, and then I moved to University of Buffalo as the first executive director of the Confucius Institute. The mission of the Confucius Institute is to promote the teaching of Chinese language and culture, and also facilitate a better mutual understanding between China and the States.
Right.
And also put the exchanges and collaboration between the two universities, and as well as other universities in China. And then I moved to Montgomery, the Urban University at Montgomery, as the director of the East Asian Initiatives and also the dean of the Confucius Institute. That's started my position of the international affairs for true. You know, in the past I just focused on China. Then from that on, focus on other countries in other areas like Korea, Philippines, Vietnam, and so on and so forth.
Oh, good. Well, I mean, it's definitely a very extensive resume, and I know we're very fortunate to have you join our family here. You came to Rio, it's right around Thanksgiving, just after Thanksgiving. We went on winter break, and when you come back, China is on winter break, and so, but that doesn't mean that you haven't been busy. Matter of fact, I know you have coming on board, working with our international students, and that's international students from all over the country here. So a lot from Europe, South America, and of course with our newly formed partnerships in China. And so I know some of the initiatives that you've been working on since you've been here is the development of dual degree programs, specifically with our partner schools in China. Take a minute and kind of explain what a dual degree program is for maybe those that don't understand it, and some of the initiatives and MOUs that you're working on that we hope to get with our partner universities.
Sure. As you said, after Thanksgiving, and also we'll have the winter break. However, in China, they don't have such breaks. So they call me and like a WeChat, video talk. So even most of the time is at night because that's the daytime in China.
Right.
So I have been in a very close and deep conversation with Chinese side. Our partner university is Xi'an Siyuan University. So the initiative is to establish a 3+1 dual degree program in early childhood education between the two universities. The 3+1 means that 3 years students stay in China for 3 years. And then 1 year, the last year, come to Rio. So the two universities needed to conduct the course articulation. So that means what kind of courses we will accept and what kind of courses they will take. Then based on the agreement that students needed to meet all the requirements from both sides. So once they are successfully meet these requirements, both at Siyuan University and at Rio Grande, then they will award it the degrees from both sides. That's called the dual degree. So 3 years in China. However, if the students are not coming to Rio Grande for the last year, they are not going to get the award. The degree. They must come for the last year to complete some required courses must be taken at Rio Grande. Then we can award the degree to them. So this is under the Ministry of Education, not only the State Department of Shanxi Province, it is also under the Ministry of Education in China. So in China, many universities seek partners with overseas universities to establish 3+1 or like a 2+2, some programs like this. So I think Rio Grande, will have a promising future because in China they have the in the past they have the one child, one family policy. So and also very important is that the value, because Chinese, not only parents or everybody value education. They believe education, better education will change your life. Better education leads to a better life. So they start with even before the child was born. So the early childhood education teacher will be a very good job in China.
Well, let me jump in on that. And here in the United States and a major part of the Western world, the ability to go to college is just whether you have the drive maybe some academic and financial means. But in China, it's a little different with their examination to get into college. Can you tell us a little bit about that, how that works, and really the importance of that?
Well, because the examination is called National College Entrance Examination. It is also sort of like a uniform. The whole throughout the country, all the students will take that examination, take them a test on the certain days. In my age, that's in July, like 7th through 9th, 3 days. Nowadays, I believe it's this 2 days. But then, something changed. Some provinces, like states, some provinces, they will conduct their own test. But still, there's the nationwide.
Right.
So student, if you want to continue your education to go to college, they must pass this test. So they call the college entrance examination. And why is it important? I think, as of today, it is still a very, it's an equal chance for every student.
Right.
Because in China, now it's much better. In the past, there are not so many resources, not many universities. You think about the large population in China, so many students, they have to go to college. How come? Because that will change their life.
Right.
And the government has not many resources to host these students, so they have to screen. So you pass the test, you can come to the university.
Right.
So otherwise, but now it's much better, and more universities and more resources. And if you cannot go to the college or university, there's some other technological schools, professional schools. You can still get some professionals. You can live on life.
Oh, good, good. It's interesting. I've had the pleasure and the opportunity to travel to China. It was I found it to be a very beautiful country and really not what I expected, and that was a very pleasant surprise. And I know one of the things that you're also working on is developing a student and teacher exchange with the students that study abroad, and with teachers some teaching opportunities to go over there. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, that's one word. That's the student exchange program. So for study abroad, at Rio, I'm new here, but I'm working hard to try to expand the study abroad program.
Right.
That includes the student exchange. For example, the first one, we can send the student as the intern teacher to teach in China for 1 semester or even for 1 year. So that's, this should be a life-changing experience for him or for her.
Right, and which is a great opportunity because our education program is very well known here, and that would give them great experience in teaching in a new culture as well.
Yes, and not only the language but also culture.
Right.
So nowadays, we're in such a small globe, right? Like a small village. You need to understand each other, the culture and the language. Right. So many students from China, they come here to study and also to teach. But also we need to send the Rio Grande students to teach in China, teach in China. This is the one of the program. The other is that we try to expand the study abroad programs, either faculty-led program or individuals, not only to our partner university, they can apply to any university in China if they accept it. And we try to work hard, on the applications, visa application procedures, and the language training, and so on and so forth. And for example, we already have one student. Her name is Jenny Case.
Yes.
She's going to study for 1 semester in our partner university. That's Zhejiang University of Media and Communication.
Right.
I think, she's leaving on March the 1st. Yeah,
that's great.
And our office now is, tutoring her Chinese languages. Chinese language.
Let me ask you on that. It's for a student or even one of our professors to go over there in an exchange program. I mean, how difficult is it going to be for them to communicate? Not having a strong grasp on the language.
Well, actually, I would not say it's difficult, but it should be very exciting. very exciting. And as I said, study abroad, it could be a life-changing experience. The students come there to experience firsthand their language and culture. So in the future, everybody should be ready for a global citizen. That's the one of the path.
Right, right. Well, great. Well, I think it's a good point right here to take a short break. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Thank you. Let's quit the break. Welcome back. Again, we're here with Dr. Eric Yang, our Director of International Programs at Rio. We were talking about our exchange programs with the students and professors. And give us a little idea, and again, I think just from a learning and understanding of the different cultures in China, give us a little idea of what it's like going to school in China. You know, from an elementary to high school, I think there's a lot of differences in the instruction and the interaction between students and the teachers.
Oh, sure. Because China and the States, they can represent the two sides of the world,
right.
The East and West, and they have a totally different education system and the cultural system. So although now, in China now it's still open to the world and a lot of reforms in education, but still the root is still there, and it's a very good tradition,
Right.
And for K to 12, okay. Actually, not if you're talking about the Chinese education, the school system is not a K to 12. It's just 1 to 12. Yeah, kindergarten, preschool, it's not like here. The K to 12 is like complementary, right?
Right.
In China, nowadays I believe is 9 years. 9 years.
Okay.
And the format or the organization of the school is 1 to grade 6. It's called primary school, sort of like elementary school here in the States. And the 7 to 9 is called middle school. Middle school. And 10 to 12 is called high school. It's called high school. That is called altogether 12 years, same as the States, 12 years. So in China, students have a lot of pressure, not only from from their parents, but also from the teachers, peers. I would say from the whole society, because once they were born, they are told you need to work hard, you need to get high scores, you need to go to the best school, then you can have a best life. So they have a lot of pressure from these, parents and from everybody. Because in China, everything is ranked. You need to work hard to get high scores. So from the elementary, you need to go to a good middle school. From middle school, you need to get a high score to go to high school. Then from high school, you need to go to the college. That's, step by step. Students work very hard. They have a lot of, but still, the government requires a new policy that you cannot have the students, especially the younger ones, have too much homework. But still, you have a lot of unattainable homework for it, because this school are also competing. Schools between each other also competing. Who is the best? Then they can attract more students. They have more money. So that's why they have a lot of homework. Even some primary schools, the elementary schools, they have to work hard and work far in the night to work on the homework. Not like the States, they still have not only school is for fun, not only for to get some knowledge, also for fun.
There's some social aspect to it as well. Yeah. So again, we talked about our students going over there, and the cultural experience that they gain is phenomenal. Last year, after the signing of our partnerships with some schools in China, we were very fortunate to have I think 11 students here from China. So. Kind of, share with us kind of what their experience is and coming here, their expectations. I'm sure it was as much as of a culture shock to them, and I know you're working on a lot and really helping with that transition and meeting the needs of all our international students. But for those students that came here, were they surprised? Did we kind of, not only Rio, but America, did we kind of meet their expectations, or what do you think?
Well, I'm also new here. I'm also in the transition. Okay, so
Right.
I think now I'm in the transition together with the students. They are also new here.
Right.
Plus they are very young, right? So of course they have a lot of culture shock, and they need help. The international program is to provide high quality services and resources for these
Right.
international students. For example, when they are here, the Rio Grande is just like a small village. They are from big city.
Right.
So,
Yes.
so the transportation is very hard for them because they don't have a car, they don't drive, and in China, in big cities, it's very convenient. They come from here to that.
Yeah.
It's very easy.
Mass transit, much more developed.
We have to work together with them, and I have a lot of meetings with them. What's your expectation from me, and what I expect from you. So
Right.
we try our best to meet their demands and needs, and to try to satisfy them. That's why the program is here.
Well, good. Well, I think we're definitely making some very strong strides in that program, because most of the students that came over were intending just to come for one semester, and we had a few that decided they wanted to stay for spring. So very excited about that.
Yeah. So the students, especially international students, they come to the States. So the university, the goal is not only for academic success, but also we need to have the students experience the American culture.
Right.
That's why we work hard to provide the cultural immersion trip for these students to experience and appreciate
Right.
American culture, and also to share their own unique culture and experience with our domestic students and the other students from other part of the world.
Yes, and I know it's some of the students we have from Europe. I mean, their expectations are more in line. That's very familiar. But I mean, some of our students from South America, in there in Central Europe, you're pretty much going to have your hands full and really kind of managing the different cultures. Probably more so in the cafeteria than anything else.
Yeah.
Well, speaking about food, we're going to dive into something a little more personal about yourself, because I understand that you're quite a cook yourself. Do you have any specific cuisines? I think we have a photo there. I would assume that you just went to the restaurant and bought all that stuff, but you actually made that. When do we get to try it?
Well, anytime, just give me a call, drop me a line. So in my spare time, especially at weekend, I like to cook. I cook for my family and cook for my friends. And of course, the United students, especially the Chinese students, when they come, as you said, culture shock. When they come to Rio Grande, it's a small village, and also this is a small town. There is not many Chinese restaurants. I think
Right.
only one, like China One, in
Right.
the town. But the restaurant in the States, that's not authentic food, Chinese food.
Right.
So that's why they missed it. Probably after the Chinese New Year, that's the Spring Festival, is coming soon,
Right.
next week. So I will try to cook for the students and parents, and everybody is welcome to join.
do you have any specialty that you claim to do well at?
No, actually, that's sometimes I create. Sometimes I'm very creative. I create myself. I sometimes look at some menu and then see, oh, what's that? I didn't have to cook.
Well, in another aspect that people might find interesting is that you're quite the accomplished badminton player. Have you found any opponents to test you here in Rio?
No, actually, yesterday I went to the gym and met Scott, the athletic director, and I learned that there is a badminton course and teach. Actually, I used to be a adjunct professor teaching the badminton coaching tips and techniques for basic badminton techniques. So badminton is, I think that's the only one, my favorite sport. Frankly, I have a lot of how many? Over 10 titles. In,
oh, wow.
Yeah, in open tournaments.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but now it's, because when you getting a certain age, you are getting older. So because I'm short, so you are slowing down. So it's pretty hard. However, that's badminton is very competitive. So when I come to Rio Grande here at the Rio family, I want to join some teams, but I didn't see someone.
Right.
So probably there is, as I said, there is a course. So I will join the course and see. Probably, we just learn from each other.
Right.
Actually, to enjoy each other, that would be good.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Well, it's in the little bit of time that we have left, and again, I know you've been spending a lot of time and kind of organizing your plans and the initiatives and getting things situated. What do you see on the horizon for the next year of some of your major projects, or some things that you would like to see accomplished and changed or created here?
Yeah. So I think it's, the next, we maintain the current, right? Mm-hmm. Then we need to expand the current and
right.
create new ones. For when I say expand one, that's we can maintain and establish more partners, institutions in mm-hmm. China and in other countries. But in China, most universities want to have partners overseas.
Right.
So then that's in China is the one of focus. Then we go to other countries. The partner university not only provide opportunity for academic exchange and collaboration, but also for the students exchange. Right. And this, and also we need to work together with the international recruiting agency or agents. Mm-hmm. They can help. They can be a bridge to help us recruit and also represent the RAL to identify some partner institutions, right. And also they can help place RAL in the targeted countries map. Mm-hmm. So we need to we have that one, and also we need to work on some different models of collaborations. For example, dual degrees. Right. Dual degrees. What we talk about dual degrees 3+1. Right. Then we can work on, because Rio Grande, I said, University of Rio Grande and community college, right? It's unique. So with right. the community and the university. Right. So based on this uniqueness, we try to work together with some of the Chinese universities to establish a new model, 1+1+2, which means 1 year in China, right, and the second year come to Rio to finish their AA degree. Ah, okay. Yeah. Right. And then the right. next 2 years, they can choose to stay at Rio to finish their bachelor degree. Then they can get the dual degree from us and degree from the partner university. Right. However, they can choose to apply to another university, but they cannot get the dual degree. They can get the degree from the other right. university. So this is the model, and some others like student exchange. That's not only with the Ministry of Education, but also just between the two universities. We can just work on the course articulation, accept right. each other's credits, and then award a degree. So that's the either 3 years in China or 2 years in China, or even like master degrees, 3.0 plus 0.5 plus 1. So many different models you can later on. So we don't have time to talk about this. And also I'm thinking we'll work with different departments and academic departments, especially for the business school. We can work on the overseas MBA program in China. It's designed right. for working professionals who are not able to come to the States to study. Right. However, they want a dual degree. They want a U.S. degree. So this for them. We can deliver the courses in China and award a degree. Right. Yeah. Well, it kind of looks like they're faced with the same challenge we have for those graduate students that are working and need to do the evening classes. Well, that about wraps it up for this edition of Voice Over Rio. I'd like to thank my special guest, Dr. Yang. Welcome. We're very proud and excited to have you here and looking forward to the changes coming up in the next year. Thank you very much.